In a world that never stops moving, peace can feel like a myth. You wake up to endless notifications, rush through traffic, answer demanding emails, and by the time the day ends, your mind feels like it's been at war. Every word, every comment, every disappointment somehow, it all gets under your skin. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and your heart races. A coworker criticizes you, and your mood collapses. A single text message can ruin your day. Why do small things affect us so deeply? Why do we allow the outside world to control our inner world? There's a reason your mind feels pulled in every direction. We've been taught to react, not to reflect, to chase comfort instead of clarity. And as life throws chaos our way, pressure, deadlines, rejection, fear, we lose the one thing that truly matters, our composure. But there's a timeless philosophy that can change all of that. A system of thought designed not for monks or mystics, but for real people facing real problems. It's called Stoicism, an ancient way of thinking that teaches how to stay calm, rational, and unshaken, no matter what life throws at you. One of its greatest teachers, Epictetus, was born into slavery. He owned nothing, controlled little, and yet discovered the one form of freedom no one could take from him, freedom of the mind. He taught that true power doesn't come from wealth or status, but from mastering your reactions. Life, he said, is not about controlling events, but about controlling your response to them. And when you learn that, nothing, not criticism, not failure, not chaos, can disturb your peace. Think about that for a second. Imagine being so centered that no insult could touch your pride, no rejection could destroy your confidence, and no loss could break your spirit. That's not detachment, that's strength. The kind of strength that makes you unstoppable in a noisy, reactive world. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about understanding them. It's not about escaping life's challenges, it's about meeting them with a calm and disciplined mind. So, if you've ever felt like you're constantly fighting battles you didn't choose at work, in relationships, in your thoughts, then this journey is for you. By the end of this video, you'll learn 10 Stoic principles that will make you emotionally unshakable, no matter what happens around you. These principles will show you how to rise above frustration, turn pain into power, and live with the quiet strength that nothing external can destroy. This isn't philosophy for reading, it's philosophy for living. Every idea you're about to hear has been tested for over 2,000 years and is still used today by leaders, thinkers, and creators who want to stay grounded under pressure. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress, the kind that begins inside and transforms everything outside. So take a deep breath. Let go of the noise for a moment, because we're about to explore how to stop reacting and start ruling your inner world. Let's begin with the foundation, your purpose. As you watch, kindly subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to get notified when we share our next video. Principle 1. Have a firm purpose. Imagine a ship at sea with no compass, no destination, and no sense of direction. The wind blows it wherever it pleases, the waves toss it without mercy, and every storm becomes a threat. That's what life feels like without purpose, directionless, reactive, and easily shaken by circumstances. Without something firm to hold on to, your emotions steer you instead of your principles. You become a passenger in your own life, drifting wherever external forces push you. A firm purpose is more than a dream or a goal. It's the anchor of your mind, a blend of values, vision, and principles that guides your decisions, no matter what's happening around you. It's knowing why you wake up every day, what you stand for, and who you choose to be when life tests you. When you live with purpose, you stop chasing every distraction or reacting to every emotion. You become centered, stable, and deeply focused. Epictetus once said, "Difficulties show a person's character, and the greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it." That quote reveals something powerful. Your true character appears when life gets hard, but without purpose, Difficulty only brings confusion and frustration. With purpose, the same difficulty becomes a teacher. It becomes a challenge that shapes your strength. Purpose gives meaning to suffering and turns obstacles into opportunities. Think of all the times you felt lost or uncertain. Maybe you were stuck in a job that didn't fulfill you, or you faced rejection that made you question your worth. Those moments hurt most when we don't have a firm sense of why we're doing what we're doing. But when you know your why, every setback becomes part of your how. The noise of the world fades and your focus sharpens. To live with a firm purpose, start with reflection. Sit down with a journal and ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What truly matters to me? 2. What kind of person do I want to become? 3. What do I want to contribute to the world? Write your answers honestly, not what others expect, but what your heart knows to be true. When you put your values into words, they become a map. Your top 3 core values, maybe integrity, growth, or compassion, will act as your compass in moments of doubt. Every decision becomes easier when it aligns with those values. Your vision is the long-term expression of your purpose. It's not about material success or status. It's about how you want to live and what legacy you want to leave behind. Maybe your vision is to live with peace, lead with wisdom, or inspire others to rise above their pain. When your daily actions reflect that vision, even small steps feel meaningful. Your principles, on the other hand, are the boundaries that protect your purpose. They're the rules you refuse to break: honesty over convenience, courage over comfort, patience over panic. These principles define who you are when no one's watching. They keep you grounded when life shakes you. Here's a simple exercise to strengthen your sense of purpose. Write down your top 3 values. Next to each value, list one way you can live it daily. For example, if growth is a core value, commit to reading or learning something new each day. Reflect each evening. Did I act according to my values today? Where did I drift? This practice doesn't just clarify your purpose, it aligns your behavior with it. Over time, you'll notice that you react less to temporary emotions and more to lasting intentions. You'll stop asking, "What should I do?" and start knowing, "This is what I must do." Having a firm purpose doesn't mean life gets easier, it means you become stronger. When storms come, and they always will, your purpose becomes your anchor. It reminds you of what matters and keeps you steady when everything else feels unstable. You stop being tossed around by opinion, fear, or failure. Instead, you stand firm, guided by something bigger than circumstance. Epictetus taught that external things can't truly harm you unless they corrupt your will. Your will, your inner drive, is the one thing fully under your control. A firm purpose keeps that will unshaken. It tells the world, "You can take everything from me, but you cannot take my direction." In the end, purpose transforms chaos into clarity. It turns confusion into focus, weakness into willpower, and fear into faith. When you live by purpose, you stop reacting to life. You start leading it. And that's where real freedom begins. So before you chase success, define significance. Before you seek peace, find your purpose. Because once you do, nothing outside you will have the power to move you from within. Principle 2. Guard your mind. The mind is your fortress, but most people leave the gates wide open. Every day, thousands of thoughts, opinions, and fears enter without permission, and before long, your peace is gone. We scroll through social media, consume fear-based news, listen to gossip, and allow negativity to shape how we feel about ourselves and the world. We don't realize it, but the more we expose our minds to chaos, the more chaotic we become inside. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, said it best: "No one can harm you unless you consent." And that includes the harm of letting the wrong things occupy your mental space. You can't always control what happens around you, but you can control what you allow into your mind. The way you think determines the way you feel, and the way you feel determines the way you act. Your emotions don't appear out of nowhere, they're born from your thoughts. If your thoughts are polluted with fear, comparison, or anger, your emotions will follow. But if your thoughts are grounded in peace, focus, and gratitude, your life will reflect that too. Every emotion begins as a seed planted by attention. Whatever you focus on grows stronger. Spend hours watching outrage-filled news, and you'll carry outrage within you. Scroll through social media, comparing your life to filtered perfection, and you'll feel inadequate. Listen to gossip, and suddenly your mind becomes a mirror of that negativity. It's not the world that's exhausting you, it's what you're feeding your mind. Guarding your mind is an act of self-respect. It's the understanding that your peace is precious and not everything deserves access to it. Think of your mind like a garden. If you don't protect it, weeds of worry and doubt take over. But when you cultivate awareness, mindfulness, and discipline, you grow strength, calm, and clarity. Mindfulness is your first tool. It means observing your thoughts without judgment. When you notice anger or anxiety rising, don't fight it, acknowledge it. Say to yourself, "This thought is visiting, but it's not me." This small pause gives you the power to respond instead of react. The Stoics called this inner distance, the ability to separate your mind from the noise. Another tool is the digital detox. Take inventory of what you consume daily. Ask, is this information nourishing or draining me? If it doesn't uplift, inform, or inspire, it's probably clutter. Unfollow accounts that breed envy, mute negativity, schedule time away from screens to reconnect with reality. Even a short break from the constant input of digital noise can reset your nervous system and restore mental clarity. Then there's the positive mental diet. Just as you nourish your body with good food, you must feed your mind with good ideas. Read books that expand your understanding. Listen to calm, intelligent voices instead of chaotic ones. Surround yourself with people who think clearly, act kindly, and challenge you to grow. What you consume mentally determines the quality of your emotions. Here's a simple challenge. Spend the next 3 days guarding your mind. For 72 hours, consciously choose what you allow in. Limit social media to 30 minutes. Replace news scrolling with reading something timeless, maybe the teachings of Epictetus or Marcus Aurelius. When someone gossips, step away or redirect the topic. Before bed, write down 3 positive things you learned or felt grateful for that day. You'll be surprised how quickly your emotional state begins to change. When you guard your mind, you begin to feel lighter, not because life becomes easier, but because your inner world becomes quieter. The same problems still exist, but they no longer dominate your emotions. You gain the ability to think clearly, act calmly, and make decisions from wisdom instead of reaction. Epictetus taught that we are disturbed not by things, but by the views we take of them. That means your peace doesn't depend on the world, it depends on your perspective. Guarding your mind is how you take back control of that perspective. It's how you stop being a victim of mental clutter and start being the master of your thoughts. The truth is, your environment will always try to pull you in every direction with opinions, distractions, and fears. But when you become intentional about what you allow in, you turn your mind into a sanctuary. No gossip, no crisis, no negativity can enter without your permission. And that's when real freedom begins, the kind of inner peace that nothing external can touch. So, protect your thoughts like treasure. Feed your mind like it's sacred, because it is. The moment you start guarding your mind, you reclaim your power. And in a world full of noise, that's the rarest and strongest form of control there is. Principle 3. Handle criticism with grace. Criticism is one of life's unavoidable tests. It stings, it provokes, and if you're not careful, it can consume your peace. Whether it's a harsh comment from your boss, a cruel remark online, or someone's unsolicited opinion about your choices. Criticism has the power to wound, but only if you let it. The Stoics believed that no external words can truly harm you unless you give them permission. Epictetus put it simply: when someone provokes you, remember they cannot touch your will. That's the secret to emotional mastery, understanding that your reaction, not their remark, determines your peace. Let's start with a familiar scene. You're at work, and after pouring your energy into a project, your boss calls you out in front of everyone, pointing out flaws you didn't see. Or maybe you post something online that you're proud of, only to have strangers mock or dismiss it. The first instinct is to defend yourself, explain, or strike back. But Stoicism teaches the power of pause, that small sacred moment between stimulus and response, where wisdom lives. When criticism hits, take a breath. Don't rush to respond. This short pause is your protection. It separates your emotions from your judgment and gives your reason time to step forward. Ask yourself, is this true? Is there something useful here? Often, criticism contains a seed of truth, but that seed is buried under tone, ego, or misunderstanding. Your job is to extract the lesson and discard the noise. That's how you transform criticism from pain into power. The Stoics practiced something called emotional distance, the ability to see situations objectively. They believed that events themselves aren't good or bad. It's our interpretation that makes them so. The same applies to criticism. When someone attacks your work or character, what they say reveals more about their perspective than your worth. Maybe they're frustrated, insecure, or projecting their own struggles. Understanding this creates empathy instead of anger. You begin to see criticism as information, not an insult. Still, handling criticism gracefully doesn't mean becoming passive or ignoring valid feedback. It means staying calm enough to listen with clarity. True strength is measured not by how loudly you defend yourself, but by how silently you reflect. There's humility in recognizing that others may see blind spots you can't. Growth often hides inside discomfort. The person who welcomes correction with patience becomes wiser than the one who seeks only praise. Imagine a craftsman who spends every day shaping wood into art. Some people pass by and admire his work. Others criticize, saying the edges are rough or the finish uneven. But the craftsman doesn't react to every comment. He listens, refines his technique, and keeps creating. His focus is on the work, not the applause, not the blame. Over time, his skill deepens, his art improves, and he becomes unbothered by opinions. Like that craftsman, your goal isn't to please everyone, it's to keep improving, anchored in your purpose. Handling criticism with grace is one of the highest Stoic skills because it transforms external chaos into internal stability. It teaches patience, humility, and emotional control. When you stop seeing criticism as a personal attack, you unlock the ability to use it as a mirror. You reflect, learn, and move on, stronger than before. If the criticism is unjust or malicious, remember, silence is a response too. Not every comment deserves your energy. Sometimes dignity lies in restraint, in choosing not to engage in pointless conflict. Let your results speak louder than your reactions. Time and consistency are the best answers to doubt. In the end, criticism is feedback, not truth. You can't control what others say, but you can control how you interpret and internalize it. When you master that, you become immune to judgment. Epictetus reminded us that the only thing under our control is our will, our ability to choose calm over chaos, clarity over anger, and growth over pride. So, the next time someone criticizes you, don't take it as an injury. Take it as training. Pause, reflect, and extract the lesson. You'll realize that the power to be unaffected isn't about silence from the world. It's about strength within. The one who can handle criticism with grace holds true mastery over their mind, and no one can take that away. Principle 4. Transform offense into power. Every insult, every rude comment, and every act of disrespect you face is emotional training in disguise. Life will always present moments that test your composure, moments that provoke you to react in anger or defensiveness. But Stoicism teaches that you can use those moments to grow instead of crumble. You can transform offense into power. The Stoics believed that the real battle is never between you and another person, it's between your emotions and your reason. What someone says or does is the stimulus. Your reaction is the response. And in that space between the two lies your freedom. When someone offends you, your instinct is to fight back to defend your ego or prove them wrong. But Epictetus taught that no one can truly offend you unless you let them. The offense isn't in the words, it's in the meaning you attach to them. Two people can hear the same insult, one laughs it off, the other stews in anger for days. The difference isn't in the insult, it's in the interpretation. That's what makes Stoicism so powerful. It shows you how to control the inner world even when the outer world is unfair. This is the art of emotional alchemy, turning the lead of offense into the gold of strength. When you feel insulted, stop and take a deep breath. Observe your emotion before it takes over. Ask yourself, what exactly am I reacting to? Is this about me or is it about them? By questioning your feelings, you shift from reaction to reflection. You take back control. The more you practice this, the stronger your emotional muscles become. Every offense becomes a workout for your patience and self-awareness. Here's a simple exercise. The next time someone offends you, pause, don't respond immediately. Breathe and let the first wave of emotion pass. Observe your thoughts. Notice how your body reacts, how your mind races to defend itself. Then ask, what response would reflect my highest self? Sometimes that response is silence. Sometimes it's a calm explanation. And sometimes it's simply walking away with your peace intact. Each time you respond consciously instead of impulsively, you become mentally stronger. Imagine this scenario. A close friend criticizes you in public, mocking your effort or belittling your idea. You feel the heat rise in your chest, the urge to fire back or shut down. But instead of reacting, you take a breath. You remind yourself that their words reveal their state, not your worth. Maybe they're insecure, frustrated, or unaware of the impact of their words. You respond calmly, I appreciate your opinion. I'll think about it. That's it. You've just taken the power away from the offense. What could have been a scene of conflict becomes a moment of mastery. That's what Epictetus meant when he said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Offense loses its power when you stop giving it your energy. The person trying to provoke you expects a reaction. When they don't get it, the power shifts. You rise above, and they're left wrestling with their own emotion. True power is calmness in the face of provocation. Another key part of transforming offense is forgiveness, not for them, but for yourself. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. The more you carry resentment, the heavier your spirit becomes. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's self-liberation. It's choosing to be free from the emotional burden someone tried to hand you. When you forgive, you say, I won't let this moment define me. You reclaim your energy and direct it toward growth. Every offense is a test of who you are becoming. Do you let your emotions lead you, or do you lead your emotions? The Stoics saw insults as opportunities to train resilience. They treated every unpleasant encounter as practice for mastery. Each time you choose calmness over anger, understanding over ego, and forgiveness over revenge, you sharpen your mind and strengthen your will. In the end, the ability to transform offense into power is emotional self-defense at its highest form. It's how you maintain inner stability in an unstable world. You stop reacting like a victim of words and start responding like a master of mind. So the next time someone tries to offend you, smile inwardly. See it for what it really is, another chance to grow. Because when you rise above offense, you don't just protect your peace, you prove to yourself that nothing outside of you has the power to disturb what's inside. Principle 5. Overcome fear and shame. Fear and shame are among the most powerful emotions humans experience, yet they exist largely in the realm of thought. Stoic philosophy teaches that these emotions are not caused by external events themselves, but by the way we interpret and perceive them. As Epictetus observed, what upsets people is not things themselves, but their opinions about things. By understanding this principle, you can dismantle the illusions of fear and shame and reclaim your power. The mind has a tendency to magnify imagined pain. A simple mistake can transform into an overwhelming sense of inadequacy, and anticipated failure can feel like a looming catastrophe. This amplification is almost always a product of thought rather than reality. Consider the anxiety before public speaking. Many imagine humiliation, rejection, or failure in vivid detail long before the event occurs. In reality, the actual experience is often far less threatening than the mind predicts. By examining fear logically, you can reduce its intensity and regain control. Epictetus's approach to fear is methodical. Start by analyzing the source of your anxiety. What is the actual risk? How likely is the feared outcome? What can you control? Rational reflection exposes exaggeration and separates perception from reality. For example, if you fear speaking in public, identify concrete aspects within your control, preparing thoroughly, practicing your delivery, and focusing on the message rather than imagined judgment. By concentrating on what you can influence, fear loses its paralyzing power. Shame operates similarly. Many people carry guilt or embarrassment from past actions, believing it defines them. Stoicism teaches that self-forgiveness and rational reflection are essential tools. Mistakes are inevitable. They become burdensome only when you assign them undue power over your identity. Reflect on what can be learned from past errors, make amends where possible, and then release the self-condemnation. By reframing your relationship with shame, you transform it from a trap into a guide for growth. Practical exercises reinforce these concepts. Gradual exposure to fear is highly effective. If public speaking terrifies you, start small. Speak in front of a friend, then a small group, and gradually expand your audience. Each success erodes the imagined danger and builds confidence. Journaling can also help. Write down fears and shameful memories, then analyze them logically. Identify distortions, assess real consequences, and rewrite the narrative with reason and compassion. By overcoming fear and shame, you unlock freedom in thought and action. Fear no longer dictates choices, and shame no longer anchors you to past mistakes. Instead, your mind becomes a place of clarity and rational control, capable of responding effectively to challenges rather than reacting out of anxiety or guilt. The Stoic path emphasizes that courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. In modern life, fear and shame can appear in countless forms: career setbacks, social judgments, or personal regrets. Each is surmountable when you apply the Stoic approach: rational reflection, self-forgiveness, and gradual exposure to fear. The result is resilience, confidence, and a liberated mind. By practicing this principle consistently, you cultivate the ability to act decisively, speak boldly, and move through life unburdened by imagined threats or self-reproach. Overcome fear, overcome shame, Stoic philosophy, emotional resilience, self-forgiveness, rational reflection, personal growth, public speaking, anxiety, mental strength, Stoic courage. Principle 6. Anticipate obstacles. Life rarely unfolds exactly as planned. Even the most careful strategies encounter unexpected hurdles. The secret to resilience isn't avoiding difficulty, it's preparing for it. Stoic philosophy offers a timeless tool for mastering this skill, premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This principle teaches us to anticipate obstacles before they strike, building both mental fortitude and practical readiness. Anticipation begins in the mind. Imagine the challenges that could derail your progress, missed opportunities, criticism, setbacks, or outright failure. By envisioning these possibilities, you reduce their power to shock or overwhelm you. It's not pessimism, it's preparation. When you mentally walk through potential obstacles, you create a roadmap for action instead of reacting in panic. For instance, before launching a business or pursuing a major goal, think through every scenario that could go wrong, then plan your response. This mental rehearsal strengthens confidence and sharpens problem-solving skills. Consider the example of preparing for failure before success. Successful people don't just hope for the best, they anticipate what could go wrong. An entrepreneur might imagine a deal falling through, a key team member quitting, or a product flopping. Instead of being crushed by disappointment, they arrive prepared with alternative strategies. Visualizing challenges in advance makes them manageable in reality. When adversity strikes, you can respond with calm and composure rather than fear or frustration. Flexibility is the natural companion to anticipation. Life rarely unfolds exactly as imagined. The goal isn't rigid control, it's adaptive resilience. You might anticipate a problem, but the details will differ from your imagination. The Stoic approach emphasizes accepting what comes while adjusting your response. For example, if you expect criticism for a presentation, you can rehearse your responses. If the criticism differs from what you imagined, your mind is still prepared to engage calmly and strategically. Anticipation is not about controlling every outcome, it's about controlling your reaction. Moral clarity emerges from this practice. Anticipating obstacles transforms challenges from threats into opportunities for growth. By preparing mentally for setbacks, you cultivate patience, courage, and emotional stability. Each time you encounter a difficulty you've foreseen, you reinforce a mindset that thrives under pressure. The more you practice premeditatio malorum, the less fear controls your decisions. You stop reacting blindly to adversity and start navigating life with intention and grace. Incorporating this principle into daily life can be straightforward. Spend a few minutes each morning imagining possible hurdles in your work, relationships, or personal growth. Ask yourself, what could go wrong today? How will I respond if it does? Visualize yourself responding with calm, confidence, and clarity. Over time, this exercise rewires your mind, making challenges feel less like disasters and more like manageable tests. Anticipation is the antidote to surprise, stress, and indecision. It doesn't remove obstacles, but it transforms your relationship with them. When you anticipate the twists and turns of life, you become proactive rather than reactive. You train yourself to remain steady, even when events spiral out of your control. The Stoics understood this deeply. Mental rehearsal and thoughtful preparation are more powerful than luck or external circumstance. In a world full of uncertainty, anticipating obstacles is your shield. Embrace premeditatio malorum as a daily practice. Visualize potential difficulties, plan your responses, and cultivate flexibility. By doing so, you build resilience, sharpen focus, and equip yourself to face life's inevitable challenges with composure and confidence. Resilience, anticipate obstacles, premeditatio malorum, Stoic philosophy, mental preparation, overcome challenges, emotional strength, adaptability, personal growth, mindset mastery. Have you learnt anything so far? Mention them in the comments section. I'll be reading all comments. Principle 7. Build inner strength. True power doesn't come from wealth, status, or circumstance. It comes from within. Stoic philosophy calls this the cultivation of an inner fortress, a state of mind built on composure, forgiveness, and gratitude. When life throws challenges your way, your external situation may be unpredictable, but your inner strength can remain unshakable. This principle teaches that resilience, peace, and confidence are cultivated internally, not externally. Building an inner fortress begins with understanding that you cannot control events, only your response to them. Losing a job, facing rejection, or encountering betrayal can feel destabilizing, but your reaction is always within your power. Imagine losing a position you thought defined your life. Instead of spiraling into anger or despair, you center yourself, acknowledge the disappointment, and look for the lessons hidden within the experience. By doing so, you maintain your composure and preserve your energy for action rather than wasted emotion. Emotional endurance is a cornerstone of inner strength. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most effective tools for this. Keeping a gratitude journal, even for 5 minutes a day, rewires your mind to focus on what you can appreciate rather than what you have lost. List daily the small wins, supportive people, and opportunities in your life. This practice strengthens mental resilience, reduces stress, and reinforces the understanding that fulfillment is cultivated internally, not through external validation. Forgiveness is another essential brick in your inner fortress. Harboring resentment or anger weakens your emotional foundation. By choosing to forgive, you free yourself from the burden of negative emotions and retain the clarity to act effectively. Forgiveness is not condoning wrongs, it is reclaiming control over your own mind. Composure, gratitude, and forgiveness together form a robust internal framework that allows you to thrive regardless of circumstances. The Stoics understood this deeply. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom is not the absence of challenges, it is the mastery of your responses to them. When you strengthen your inner self, external events lose their power to disturb you. You become resilient, unshakable, and proactive rather than reactive. Life may be chaotic, but your inner fortress remains steadfast, a sanctuary of clarity, focus, and calm. Developing inner strength requires consistent practice. Start with self-reflection each morning, affirming that your power lies in your mind and attitude, not in uncontrollable events. Use challenges as exercises in composure. When conflict arises, pause before responding. When setbacks occur, acknowledge them without surrendering to despair. Daily journaling of gratitude, self-observations, and lessons learned reinforces emotional endurance and builds a resilient mindset over time. The moral is clear. Circumstances cannot dictate your peace, success, or happiness. Only your internal state can. By building an inner fortress, you gain mastery over your life, even when external conditions are turbulent. You discover that strength, resilience, and freedom are cultivated from within, impervious to chaos, criticism, or misfortune. By prioritizing composure, forgiveness, and gratitude, you create a mental sanctuary that cannot be breached. Life will always test you, but with inner strength, you can face adversity calmly, think clearly, and act decisively. Your attitude becomes your most reliable ally, your internal power unshaken by circumstance. Inner strength, build resilience, Stoic philosophy, emotional endurance, gratitude journaling, composure, inner fortress, personal growth, self-mastery, mental toughness. Principle 8. Restrain your actions. True mastery is not just about thinking clearly or feeling calmly, it is about acting deliberately. Restraint transforms impulse into power, turning emotional reactions into conscious choices. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that the ability to pause before responding is one of the most potent tools for personal growth and long-term success. The space between impulse and action is where freedom and strength are forged. Consider the simple act of pausing. When someone insults you or provokes anger, Your initial reaction may be sharp, impulsive, or destructive. By introducing a pause, a few seconds to breathe, observe, and reflect, you gain control over your response. This small delay allows you to assess the situation rationally, align your actions with your values, and avoid consequences that may harm relationships, reputation, or progress. The power of restraint lies not in suppression, but in conscious choice. Real-life examples highlight its importance. Imagine a scenario of road rage. Another driver cuts you off, and your instinct is to yell, honk aggressively, or chase retaliation. In that moment, a simple pause, a breath, a count to 5 can prevent an escalation that could lead to accidents, legal trouble, or lasting stress. Similarly, in heated arguments with colleagues, friends, or family, immediate reactions often inflame conflict. Restraint gives you the ability to respond thoughtfully, assert your point without aggression, and maintain composure under pressure. Restraint is closely tied to delayed gratification, another cornerstone of personal mastery. Acting impulsively may provide instant satisfaction, but it rarely yields lasting benefits. Choosing patience, whether in spending money, reacting emotionally, or pursuing goals, strengthens discipline and self-control. Mindful speech is an extension of this principle. Before replying to criticism, gossip, or provocation, pause and consider your words. Will they build respect or burn bridges? Will they serve your long-term goals or satisfy a fleeting emotion? This conscious filter transforms ordinary communication into a tool of influence and integrity. Practicing restraint can be simple but powerful. Incorporate a routine. Whenever faced with provocation, pause, breathe deeply, and count to 5. Observe your emotional state without judgment. Ask yourself, is my reaction aligned with my values? Will it serve me in the long term? Repeating this practice strengthens your neural pathways for self-control, gradually making thoughtful responses your default rather than reactive outbursts. Over time, restraint becomes a habit, not a struggle. The moral is clear. Restraint is not weakness, it is mastery in motion. By controlling your impulses, you gain respect from others, maintain integrity, and preserve energy for actions that truly matter. Long-term strength arises from the disciplined choice to act deliberately rather than react recklessly. Every pause, every mindful breath, and every conscious decision builds character and reinforces self-mastery. In a world that rewards speed, impulsivity, and instant gratification, restraint is a rare and powerful advantage. It allows you to navigate social interactions, professional challenges, and personal conflicts with composure, clarity, and strategic intent. By practicing restraint daily, you cultivate a mindset of intentionality and resilience, ensuring that your actions consistently reflect your values and priorities. Self-restraint, practice restraint, delayed gratification, mindful speech, emotional control, Stoic philosophy, personal mastery, impulse control, composure, long-term strength. Principle 9. Practice acceptance. Emotional clarity begins with acceptance. Stoic philosophy teaches that true peace comes not from controlling every outcome, but from embracing reality as it is. Acceptance is often misunderstood as resignation or passivity, but in truth, it is the foundation for proactive, balanced living. Practicing acceptance allows you to respond to challenges with calm, focus, and clarity, rather than frustration, fear, or resistance. Acceptance differs fundamentally from resignation. Resignation implies giving up, surrendering effort, or abandoning goals. Acceptance, on the other hand, is the conscious recognition of reality combined with strategic action. For example, imagine losing a career opportunity you worked hard for. Resignation would lead to despair and withdrawal. Acceptance, however, allows you to acknowledge the setback, learn from it, and pivot toward new opportunities. It's a mindset that embraces reality while maintaining agency over your actions. Gratitude is an essential companion to acceptance. By appreciating what you have rather than lamenting what you lack, you cultivate resilience and emotional stability. A daily gratitude practice, writing down 3 things you are thankful for, shifts attention from scarcity to abundance. Combined with acceptance, gratitude transforms setbacks into lessons, disappointment into motivation, and uncertainty into focus. This dual practice anchors your mind in clarity rather than chaos. Practical exercises reinforce acceptance. One effective method is nightly reflection. Spend 5 minutes reviewing the day and noting moments where resistance caused stress or wasted energy. Ask yourself, what did I resist? What can I accept to move forward effectively? Another powerful exercise is journaling gratitude for the present moment, reinforcing awareness of what is working rather than dwelling on what isn't. Over time, these practices rewire the mind to respond with composure and adaptability rather than panic or frustration. The Stoics remind us through Epictetus, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish that they happen as they do." This simple yet profound statement captures the essence of acceptance. When you align your desires with reality, you reduce emotional friction and gain clarity. Acceptance does not diminish ambition, it enhances it. By recognizing what is beyond your control, you conserve energy for meaningful action, solving problems instead of resisting them. Acceptance also fosters flexibility and resilience. Life is unpredictable and setbacks are inevitable. Those who resist reality are repeatedly frustrated, while those who practice acceptance adapt more quickly and recover faster. Acceptance empowers you to act strategically, make better decisions, and maintain inner peace regardless of circumstance. By embracing what is, you gain emotional freedom and the capacity to navigate life with clarity and confidence. In essence, acceptance is emotional mastery. It is the practice of seeing reality clearly, appreciating the present, and acting from a place of wisdom rather than impulse. By differentiating acceptance from resignation, integrating gratitude practices, and reflecting on daily experiences, you cultivate mental strength and resilience. Acceptance allows you to face life's uncertainties with calm, adapt to challenges, and act with intention, transforming obstacles into opportunities for growth. Practice acceptance, emotional clarity, Stoic philosophy, gratitude journaling, resilience, adaptability, mental strength, acceptance versus resignation, personal growth, inner peace. Principle 10. Live according to nature. Living in harmony with your true self and the world around you is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. To live according to nature is not about following external trends or indulging every desire. It is about aligning your life with reason, virtue, and simplicity. Nature, in this context, refers to both the rational order of the universe and your own inner rationality. By observing and respecting this natural order, you cultivate balance, purpose, and lasting peace. At its core, living according to nature means embracing the Stoic virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Wisdom guides your decisions, allowing you to act with clarity and understanding. Courage empowers you to face challenges without fear or avoidance. Justice ensures fairness and integrity in your interactions with others. Temperance fosters self-control, helping you resist excess and live with moderation. Together, these virtues form a framework for living in harmony with both yourself and your community. Simplicity is a natural extension of this principle. Modern life often distracts us with endless complexity, consumption, and comparison. The Stoics teach that fulfillment comes not from accumulating more, but from appreciating what is essential. By simplifying your possessions, desires, and daily routines, you reduce mental clutter and focus on what truly matters. Minimalism, when combined with purpose-driven living, reflects this ancient wisdom in a modern context. Living according to nature means prioritizing meaningful work, nurturing relationships, and cultivating inner growth over superficial gains. Community and environmental awareness are also vital aspects of living in harmony with nature. Humans are social beings, and Stoicism emphasizes responsibility toward others. Acts of kindness, fairness, and service align your life with the natural order of human connection. Likewise, awareness of your impact on the environment honors the interconnectedness of all life. By living sustainably and respecting the world around you, you nurture balance and contribute to the greater good, reflecting the Stoic ideal of life in accordance with nature. A modern metaphor for this principle is the river. A river flows naturally, following the contours of the land, adapting to obstacles, yet remaining true to its path. It nourishes the life around it, persists through challenges, and finds balance in movement. Similarly, when you live according to nature, you move with reason and virtue, adapt to life's obstacles without resistance, and create harmony in your environment and community. Peace and fulfillment arise not from control, but from alignment with the natural flow of life. Ultimately, living according to nature is about authenticity, balance, and intentionality. It requires reflection, self-discipline, and a commitment to virtue. By simplifying your life, practicing the Stoic virtues, and honoring your connection to others and the environment, you cultivate a resilient and purposeful existence. Life becomes less about reacting to chaos and more about participating consciously in the world around you, guided by reason, integrity, and compassion. In a world filled with distractions, overconsumption, and constant pressure to conform, the Stoic call to live according to nature is more relevant than ever. Aligning your actions with virtue, embracing simplicity, and nurturing your relationships and environment create a life that is not only sustainable but deeply fulfilling. Like the river flowing naturally through the landscape, your life can embody grace, balance, and enduring peace when lived in accordance with nature. Live according to nature, Stoic philosophy, Stoic virtues, simplicity, minimalism, purpose-driven life, emotional balance, personal growth, community, environmental awareness. Mastering your mind is the ultimate path to freedom and resilience. Throughout this guide, we've explored 10 Stoic principles designed to transform how you think, feel, and act. From embracing discomfort and anticipating obstacles to building inner strength and practicing acceptance, the common thread is clear. Mastery over your reactions makes you untouchable. External events may challenge you, but your response determines your power, peace, and progress. As Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." Life will inevitably test your patience, push your limits, and present setbacks. Yet, when you cultivate the habit of responding intentionally rather than impulsively, challenges become opportunities for growth. Each principle you apply strengthens your mind, sharpens your focus, and fortifies your emotional resilience. By integrating even one of these practices daily, you begin a transformation that is subtle yet profoundly impactful. Start small. Choose one principle, perhaps practicing restraint in a heated moment, reflecting on gratitude, or preparing mentally for obstacles, and commit to applying it consistently. Over time, these daily actions compound into a mindset that is disciplined, adaptable, and unwavering. You will notice that external chaos affects you less, criticism stings less, and fear loses its grip. The power of Stoic practice is in repetition. Mastery is earned one deliberate choice at a time. Remember, the goal is not perfection, but conscious progress. Each time you pause, reflect, or respond with virtue, you reinforce your inner fortress. You cultivate an unshakable identity, one that thrives regardless of circumstance. The emotional closing truth is simple yet profound. When you master your mind, the world loses its power over you. That's when nothing can affect you ever again. As you move forward, take time to reflect on the principle that resonated most with you. Share it with others, discuss it, and observe how it transforms your life. Engage in this journey, actively subscribe to continue learning, practice intentionally, and reflect on your growth. The world may throw obstacles, criticism, and unexpected events your way, but with Stoic principles guiding your mind, you remain steady, empowered, and free. SEO, keywords, master your mind, Stoic principles, emotional resilience, personal growth, mental strength, self-mastery, inner peace, intentional living, Stoic philosophy, personal transformation. Do you like this video? Kindly subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to get notified when we share our next video.